So anti-hyperlipidemic drugs are the drugs which lower the levels of lipids and lipoproteins in blood. The hypolipidemic drugs have attracted considerable attention because of their potential to prevent cardiovascular disease by retarding the accelerated atherosclerosis in hyperlipidemic individuals. Means the individuals who are prone to develop the atherosclerosis and to develop the various cardiovascular diseases. So in that patients, we have to use the anti-hyperlipidemic drugs or hypolipidemic drugs. And by this reason, the anti-hyperlipidemic drugs have considered, received maximum attraction in today's era. So what is our today's learning objectives? First, we have to classify the anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. Then we will discuss about the mechanism of action of drugs used in treatment of hypercholesterolemia and hypertriglyceridemia. Then, then we will discuss about the different anti-hyperlipidemic drugs in treatment of combined hyperlipidemia. Then later we will see the tabulation of the difference between the different hyperlipidemic drugs and mechanism of action, then side effects and therapeutic use. So today we will focus on a single class or maybe two classes of the anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. Okay, so let us see what do you mean by the lipidemia and hyperlipidemia. Let us see what is the origin of lipids. So lipids originate from two sources: the endogenous lipids, which is synthesized in the liver, while the exogenous lipid, that is ingested or taken from the intestine. Means when we are taking it, eating the food which containing the different lipids and which is absorbed from the intestine, that is called as the exogenous lipid. Then next, how the dietary cholesterol and triglycerides are packaged into chylomicrons in the intestine and before passing into the bloodstream via lymphatics. So all the lipids are carried toward or in the blood. They are transported through the lymphatic system. Then chylomicrons are broken down by the lipoprotein lipase, an enzyme in the capillaries of the muscles and adipose tissue to fatty acids, then which then enter the cells. The chylomicron remnants, which have most much of their have lost much of their triglyceride content, are taken up by the liver for disposal. So liver takes the various actions on the lipoproteins by the action of lipoprotein lipase and break down into chylomicrons and decreases the triglyceride content and disposes the lipids. Then liver synthesize the triglycerides and cholesterol and packages them as a very low density lipoprotein, that is VLDL, before releasing them into the blood. When VLDL, which consists of mainly triglyceride rich muscles and adipose blood vessels, their triglycerides are hydrolyzed by lipoprotein lipase to fatty acids. The fatty acids that are released are taken up by the surrounding muscle and adipose cells. During this process, the VLDL become progressively more dense and turn into the low density lipoprotein, while most of the resulting low density lipoproteins LDLs are taken up by the liver for disposal. Some circulate and distribute cholesterol to the rest of the body tissue. High density lipoproteins is the another category of lipoprotein which are also secreted from the liver and intestine, have the task of preventing lipid accumulation, and they remove the cholesterol from tissues and transfer it to low density lipoprotein that return to the liver. Means the out of these different types of lipids we have saw the chylomicrons, then VLDL, then LDL, and HDL. So HDL is a good lipo lipids. Good lipid means which helps to body, and while the others are not helpful to body. So high HDL is acceptable in the body, while the others are not acceptable in the body and may cause the development of atherosclerosis and further can lead to the various cardiovascular disorders in the persons. So let us see the hyperlipidemia definition. The elevated concentrations or levels of lipids called as the hyperlipidemia, and this lead to the development of atherosclerosis and cardio heart disorder, that is cardiovascular disorder or cardiac heart disorder, CHD. So VLDL and LDL are the mainly responsible for development of atherosclerosis, so they are called as the atherogenic lipoproteins, whereas the HDL concentrations are inversely related to the incidence of this disorder. Means HDL, as earlier we have discussed, HDL is one of the good lipid and which inversely related to heart diseases. Mean higher the levels of HDL, there will be lesser chances of the development of heart disorders. Then hence the treatments for hyperlipidemia aim to reduce the LDL level and raise the HDL level. So depending on this, we have to get our treatment of the and hyperlipidemia. Means we have to reduce the levels of LDL and we have to raise the HDL levels. Then let us see on this slide here the high density lipoproteins which act as a reservoir for apoproteins, then play a vital role in scavenging used cholesterol, and this reverses the cholesterol transport. So apoproteins are very much important for the uh, cholesterol transport, and high density lipoproteins are then important for the production of these apoproteins, and these apoproteins have shown to act on the liver, and the transport of this cholesterol is takes place, and due to this transport takes place, no cholesterol is accumulated in our body, and there are the risk of this cardiac diseases decreases due to the lesser accumulation of cholesterol. So this diagram is showing the transport of cholesterol through the liver and the body. So here you can see the used cholesterol transferred to HDL and converted to cholesterol ester. Means apoproteins converts this LDL to HDL, and this HDL receptor mediated endocytosis by liver. Some cholesterol transferred to LDL, then LDL. All this converted to then VLDL and other bile salts and excreted out of the body. Let us see the classification of our hypolipidemic or anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. So there are two main classes. For the our understanding, I have classified them as a class 1 agents targeting endogenous cholesterol. So endogenous cholesterol and exogenous cholesterol we have saw. So the agents which are targeting the endogenous cholesterol, the classes are statins, then fibrates and nicotinic acid. While the class 2, which comprise of the agents or drugs which targeting the exogenous cholesterol, that is alpha cholesterol uptake inhibitors, example ezetimibe, and the second is the bile acid binding resins, example cholestyramine and cholestyramine. Statins, there are different examples like lovastatin, levastatin, then simvastatin, then pravastatin, so all statins. Then fibrates are nothing but the clofibrate, then gemfibrozil, bezafibrate, then fenofibrate, and the nicotinic acid is the niacin, which is useful for the inhibit, inhibiting the lipolysis and triglyceride synthesis. So we will see as per our convenience the different agents which are acting on endogenous cholesterol synthesis, while the agents which are targeting the exogenous cholesterol synthesis. So this is the classification of anti-hyperlipidemic drugs. So next is the HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors that are nothing but the statins, and we also saw this in the previous slide. So statins have a target of an enzyme that is HMG-CoA reductase. So they are inhibiting the action of this enzyme here. Let us see first the examples of different statins. So lovastatin, then rovastatin, simvastatin, pravastatin, atorvastatin, rosuvastatin, all these are the examples of these different HMG-CoA reductase. And the pharmacokinetic is very easy to understand here. These are subjected to extended first pass metabolism by the liver, means 95% of these drugs get bound to the plasma proteins. So protein binding is very higher, and the only 5% of the administered dose of the drug is available for the action, to show the action here. So this is very important to note here when we are deciding the doses of this anti-hyperlipidemic drug. We have to take it into consideration for the plasma protein binding, because 95% of the drug get bound and will not be useful for the showing its action. All the statins are taken orally at bedtime. And why it is taking at bedtime? So because of diurnal rhythm of the cholesterol synthesis, except atorvastatin taken at any time because of its long half-life. So the our body has a specific rhythm that is called as the chronobiology of our body. So diurnal rhythm of cholesterol synthesis is very important to target the synthesis process of this cholesterol. And so we have taken the uh, decided our dose at the bedtime, so that it will be acting on this cholesterol synthesis rhythm and will inhibit the synthesis of cholesterol. Then let us focus on the mechanism of action of these statin drugs, that is HMG-CoA reductase. In simple words, we can say it is inhibiting the action of HMG-CoA enzyme, and these are the potent reversible competitive inhibitors of 3-hydroxy 3-methyl coenzyme A reductase, that is HMG, 3-hydroxy 3-methyl coenzyme A reductase. So this enzyme is in short called as the HMG-CoA reductase, and this is one of the potent reversible competitive inhibitor of this enzyme, and this is the rate controlling enzyme in the कोलेस्टेरॉल बायोसिंथेसिस. कोलेस्टेरॉल जैसे लीवर में तैयार होता है, जो बायोसिंथेसिस होता है उसमें अगर इसका HMG CoA conversion to cholesterol, so HMG CoA converts most of the lipids to the cholesterol. So this is a rate controlling enzyme, and we have to target this so that we have to decrease the formation of this cholesterol in the liver, and we can prevent the further atherosclerosis or various cardiovascular disorder development. They are extremely effective in lowering plasma concentration of low density lipoprotein C. So LDL-C का concentration को बहुत effective तरीके से कम करता है our statin drugs. They act by inhibiting the cholesterol synthesis in the liver, so they deplete the intracellular supply of cholesterol, which in turn triggers the compensatory upregulation of hepatic LDL receptors, thus causing increased clearance of the plasma LDL. Means यहाँ पे ये ड्रग की वजह से क्या होता है, इनहिबिटिंग ऑफ द कोलेस्टेरॉल सिंथेसिस एंड दैट डिप्लीट्स द इंट्रासेलुलर सप्लाई ऑफ कोलेस्टेरॉल, and ultimately our body try to compensate it by other type of cholesterol, other type of lipoprotein, and that other type of lipoprotein is get by the LDL receptors, and this LDL receptors get triggered to get the increased clearance of low density lipoprotein. So LDL get removed and get used in the body. So we avoid the use of cholesterol and accumulation of preventing the accumulation of cholesterol. So this is the mechanism. Let us see, understand it by the flowchart here. So statin mechanism has been mentioned here. HMG-CoA synthase will go to acetyl-CoA and acetoacetyl-CoA. Then this gives the HMG-CoA formation, and this HMG-CoA formation turns into mevalonate and cholesterol. So our drugs will inhibit the HMG-CoA, and our this enzyme get inhibited, its action get inhibited by the statin drugs. HMG-CoA reductase acts on the HMG-CoA, and this will later on converted to mevalonate and cholesterol. So this is the rate limiting step, and we will target this so that the further mevalonate and cholesterol will not be synthesized in the liver, and the decrease in the cholesterol synthesis takes place, and we achieve our treatment target. So this is the mechanism has been given by this D1 JJ, that the link has been provided here. The paper, research paper, which is mention this mechanism of action. Okay. So let us again describe it from where the cholesterol starts to synthesize. The HMG-CoA synthase is the primary material. Then it is converted to HMG-CoA, and this HMG-CoA later on converted to mevalonate. Then mevalonate converted to cholesterol. But the HMG-CoA is converted to mevalonate by the action of HMG-CoA reductase. This is the target of our statin drugs. So we will use to limit the formation of cholesterol in our body. We can decrease the formation of cholesterol by inhibiting this enzyme. So the statins are very useful in this treatment for the hyperlipidemia control. So here these statins are very much important. Let us see some of the adverse effects of these drugs. All statins are remarkably well tolerated, but some common adverse effects are like headache, then nausea, then bowel upset, then sleep disturbances could occur,